The multi-faith initiative to end mass incarceration was started by then Reverend, now Senator Raphael Warnock. He reached out to Auburn Seminary, where he is a fellow, and said, I really need a conference on ending mass incarceration from a faith voice. And very quickly after that, I think Reverend Billy, you were part of this conversation, the decision was made that this is not just a conference, this really is a movement. And since that time, one of their first calls was to the temple, because they knew that this had to be a multi-faith initiative. And that experience led to me getting involved, later Odyssey Impact documentary, filmmaker to get involved. And very quickly we found that there was a deep need, a deep desire on the part of so many faith communities to have a very clear moral voice about what it was to deal with mass incarceration in our congregations, as a society, in our communities, as a country. We decided on 3 main strategies to attack this question. One is congregational engagement. How can each individual mosque, synagogue, church, temple get involved in this work, so that our people get a real sense of the story, the truth telling that Rabbi Sharon was talking about? How do we get those stories out and into the public sphere? How can congregations that are so credible in terms of service, how can we really sort of nudge them towards what we like to call just service, which is this notion that that service is actually connected to a larger story of oppression and a larger story of narrative change, which is the second pillar. We started thinking about, how do we tell this story differently? What's the different kind of theology we want to bring to bear on this? We heard from Dr. Simran about some of that history. I'd include in that, there was this blew my mind. Probably everyone else already knew this, but there was a slave Bible, Billy. I did not grow up knowing that in Memphis, Tennessee in the 80s, okay? And it took out all the parts about liberation that is so core to my own theology, like to what I know that book to be all about. So we're redeeming not just our religions, but obviously also the conversation about what it means to be a redeemed person through our narrative change. And then most importantly, policy change. How do we make this transformative work on policy level?